All right, guys, welcome to Market Monday for January 15th. Jeffrey and I are here talking to you about last week's recap and kind of where we are headed this week. So, kind of like yesterday or last week, we talked about the active listings. We've fluctuated a little bit. Last week we were at 17,281, and this week 17,889. What are we seeing there? Kind of just, everything's staying about the same, but we have a lot more coming soon as well, right?
Yeah, active listings are up, but we kind of expected that for January, right? This is typically when we see the biggest increase. Is around this time, so I'm not surprised. A lot of people wanted to wait for the new year to sell and get through the holidays and all this stuff. So historically, we peak inventory in January unless there's some kind of massive interest rate cuts or raises like there was a couple years ago, and then we jumped up
Right.
in the middle of October. So yeah, from right now, this is about the highest we'll get through October. We'll start to pick up a little bit more, and then through the end of the year, we'll kind of drop down again, and then we'll pick up again in January again. So
Okay. So yeah, kind of expecting or seeing what we're expecting to see
yeah, exactly. It
still as
feels it
well.
feels a lot more normal than it has the last few years.
Yeah, that's what everything that anyone I've talked to and just kind of the overall feel that we've gotten.
Yeah.
Um, we've seen some improvements in a lot of cities. Pretty much every city in Maricopa County has improved. The top three, it's looking like Fountain Hills, Chandler, and Gilbert.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about those.
So those are like the some of the hottest of the 17 largest cities, right? That they track. According to Cromford, those are the three that improved, or I should say, are the hottest. Um, but again, it's the 17 largest. If you actually look at the data, we said it was Tucson and Apache Junction are the two hottest
Mhm.
markets, but population-wise, they're a little bit smaller, so the numbers are a little bit different. But according to the Cromford Index, Fountain Hills, Chandler, and Gilbert are the top three movers. So
Okay, so if you're in one of those three cities, you're probably going to expect the most activity, the fastest, if you're going to be
yeah,
selling in there or something like that, and
yeah,
most competition on the buy side.
yeah. And I think because of the largest cities, right, you're probably going to have more buyers, a bigger buyer pool because people want to live there. Versus Apache Junction and Tucson are kind of far out. They come with their own issue. Every place comes with their own issues, but those come with
And
their
they're
own
in,
separate challenges.
yeah, like unique uh, behavior in each market.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then kind of the overall feel that we've been getting is it was last week, it was like kind of some mild optimism, but it seems to be growing some steam here with more just like general optimism about the market and where it's going
Hmm.
um, this year.
Yeah, even when we did our open house, we had quite a bit of buyer activity on a Sunday,
Yeah.
and people were coming in and they were lookers, right? They were actually looking for properties. So, I believe that there's optimism. How are you feeling? Are you thinking there's
Yeah,
optimism?
that's what I've seen. Anybody we talked to yesterday was, there were very few looky loo neighbors, which you typically see, especially on a new listing that we held open. But yeah, a lot seemed like serious buyers. Everyone that came through was like, "Hey, I've got to do something." It was more like we talked about last week. It's much more of a needs based. So somebody was like, "I need to be closer," or I need to be closer to family, or need to be closer to a temple. Is some of the feedback that we got. So everybody has a specific need that they're trying to meet, and all the buyers seemed very um, eager to make a move happen.
Yeah, we did the John and I did the one on Saturday, the open house on Saturday in Arcadia, and one of the people that came in said that they have an agent, and they've been shopping in North Scottsdale, Troon, Greyhawk, kind of that area. But they wanted to check out Arcadia too because everyone talks about Arcadia. Their max budget is 2.5 million, and they got outbid by a property in I want to say it was Troon. They got outbid by like 60 grand. They had a bidding war.
Really?
Yeah, and they were sharing the story with us, and it was really, really kind of incredible to hear that this is happening and at a higher price point too. So I do think that anecdotally, right, and just from what we're hearing around the office, from our lenders, from our partners, it's going to pick up, and I feel that way too.
Yeah. I think I've seen everybody, most agents that I've talked to in the office are a lot busier. There
Yeah.
are buyers that have been kind of on the fence, have really come out, especially like now that we're kind of like really in the middle of the month.
Hmm.
I think last week was still a little bit early,
Hmm.
just because we're still tailing from the holidays, but now we're in full swing. And I think that, yeah, there's people are actually moving a lot more. And I think we're going to see a lot of these go under contract soon.
I think so too. I think it's going to start to pick up, as the weather gets better and as we move through January. So
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else that we're seeing so far 2 weeks in? Yeah,
I think there's a lot of pent up activity that's going to be forthcoming,
agreed.
but I don't think that it's there yet. I mean, I've got some listings that I'm strategically keeping off the market until February because I think it's going to pick up then, and that's kind of just the game plan for some of them. Some of them that are already on the market, you know, we're thinking about pulling them off temporarily too. So
I think what we're seeing a lot of number of sellers that I've talked to, they're waiting to see when after the Fed meets, which there's a meeting at the end of this month, and then there's a meeting
mm-hmm.
in March, and so I
Yeah,
think
that's
that'll
six
be
weeks later.
interesting to see. Yeah, with those cuts that they're expected to make this year, it'll be interesting to see, and I think that's gonna once there is that cut, I think you're going to see a lot of that pent up activity, both on the buy side and the sell side.
Yeah, we were talking to somebody this weekend, and it's the same story, right? It's why would somebody who has a low interest rate move? The guy's argument was like it was funny because he was arguing both points. He was saying that, and then also you probably have a lot of equity, and so you could use that equity to afford this $1 million house we were sitting in, right? Um,
Right.
and it's like, yeah, but I mean, also understand that buyers who bought at the lower price point, lower interest rate, they're probably comfortable there and they're looking at the new payment and the new interest rate. And no matter if they have the equity or not, they're realizing I'm going to have to spend all of my equity just to get this house to, and it's going to be more expensive than we're paying now. So I think as interest rates drop, we're going to see that narrative kind of flip too. I think it's it, man. I think it's all we have to talk about today. It's
Yeah.
kind of a short day, and we didn't have coffee talk today, so we're not getting any of the other anecdotes. It's just kind of us today.
Yeah. Exactly. Well,
So
yeah, I think that's it for this week, and we'll be
yeah,
back next Monday with
mm-hmm.
another episode of Market Monday. Thanks for watching.
Sweet.
We'll see you
Thanks,
soon.
guys.